Let's take a look at this Task 1 question. It's a data type question. You have to report on the data presented in the charts. There's no need to analyze the data in any way. Before you start to write, you need to take a close look at the charts to check for main features. This could involve identifying trends, making comparisons, and so on. Let's start with the bar chart. Look at the opening figures. We can see that government schools opened at 80%, while private schools opened with 20%. By the end of the period, the government schools stood at 40%, while the private schools stood at 60%. So, the government schools showed a decrease, while the private schools experienced an increase. During the period from 2002 until 2008, we can see that the decreasing and increasing trends were quite steady, with the exception of the year 2006. Now, moving on to the pie charts, we can see that the satisfaction levels for private schools were higher than those for the government schools. Now it's time to write the report. Remember that you just have 20 minutes for this. Let's start with the introductory paragraph. The first thing to do is to paraphrase the question. You can paraphrase the question by using synonyms or by changing the part of speech. The word shows can be replaced by gives details of or gives information about. Enrolling at is the same as attending. Over a period of 10 years can be replaced in a number of ways, such as between 2000 and 2010, or from 2000 to 2010, or in the decade between 2000 and 2010. For the final phrase, levels of satisfaction, we can change the part of speech from the noun satisfaction to the adjective satisfied, but note that you need to make amendments in the grammar as well. So, we've paraphrased the question. Let's continue with the rest of the first paragraph. If you remember from the strategies pack, the first paragraph should contain 2 or 3 other sentences. Sometimes the data can be grouped to make the report clearer, although in this question, no meaningful grouping is immediately evident. In that case, don't worry about it. Move on to the next sentence to show the units of measurement. Figures are given in percentages. Make sure you make the unit plural, percentages. Now to the most important sentence in the introductory paragraph, the overview. The overview should focus on the main trend. It is evident that government schools experienced a decreasing trend, while private schools showed an increasing trend over the period. In addition, it can be seen that students at private schools were generally more satisfied than students at government schools. Now it's time to start writing the report. A report like this should contain between 2 and 3 paragraphs, the introductory paragraph and 1 or 2 body paragraphs. In this task, we could report on the data in the bar charts in 1 paragraph and the data in the pie charts in another paragraph, making a total of 3 paragraphs. Let's start with the bar charts. Remember that each paragraph should begin with a topic sentence to show the reader what the paragraph will cover. This paragraph will report on the data, starting with figures for the beginning of the period and for the end of the period. This will show the trends. Next, the report will focus on the nature of the trends, using such words as slight, steady, dramatic, fluctuating, and so on. Don't forget to provide figures to support the trends. It is useful here to point out any exceptions to the trends. Now it's time to write the final paragraph, describing levels of satisfaction. Don't forget to start the paragraph with a topic sentence. There should be a comparison between the private schools and the government schools using language to compare the figures. Don't forget to provide supporting figures. Use linking words to give greater cohesion to the paragraph. In this case, we use while to show contrast. The word respectively is a very useful word when listing figures to avoid repetition of private schools and government schools. The report is now complete. If you answered the question fully, you should be able to write more than the minimum required number of words, which is 150 words. But the task is not yet complete. You should leave a couple of minutes to check the grammar and spelling in your report. Remember, you should spend no more than 20 minutes on task 1. You should allow 40 minutes for task 2 because task 2 is worth more marks.